aboard, for this stagecoach is about to move out, and it's for everyone that has potential.
AC Fun Time, the stuff for kids just like me.
Tune in to these different topics that we be sharing every day.
You want to learn about your health?
Please continue to question everything.
We're here to level the playing field
and to let City Hall know.
These are topics that affect you, me, and all of us. Continue to tune in.
The opinion that's on the show today is not suggested by AC Funtime Superstars.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the AC Funtime Superstar. Just before we go into part 3, what happened in Georgetown, we are here in North Charleston with Pastor Dixon and Mayor John Singletary. Mr. Dixon,
yes.
Would you please take the time to tell me and the viewing audience what's going to happen here today?
Well, we've gathered here today in order to publicly endorse John Singletary as the next mayor of the city of North Charleston. We've gathered together numerous organizations and groups who have all decided to publicly endorse John as the next mayor. And so we wanted to come before and stand before this structure here, North Charleston City Hall, and to let City Hall know that there's a new resident coming in on November 4th.
Like Pastor Dixon said, I'm here to receive the endorsement of several organizations in which we thought that here at City Hall would be the best place to do it, since we will be moving into City Hall shortly. People from the city are looking for jobs and contracts. They're looking to make sure that they're given equal opportunity for good quality education, for community resources, lower taxes, lower crime, better justice within the municipal judicial system. All of those things will be coming to the residents of North Charleston, whether they be black, white, Hispanic, it really doesn't matter. We're here to level the playing field.
I just want to say to the people how important it is for us to watch and promote shows such as AC Fun Time. This is an informational show. It's going to empower you, and we're speaking about rights. This time it can be, next time it can be about health or different things. So this is things that are going to get you empowered so that you can each one teach one and talk about what we're going to be able to do in regard to protect ourselves and help ourselves.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Jackson with AC Fun Time, and my advice to you is to question everything.
Hi, I'm Purcell Henry, and I enjoy watching AC Fun Time.
Mayor of North Charleston, Keith Summey, has had charge over the well-being of this city's residents for the last 21 years. With the assistance of his city council, some of whom were in office before he was elected, they assumed their positions as public servants selected of the people, by the people, and for the people. They accepted their office to stand as representatives of all the people of North Charleston. Unfortunately, that concept is not the order of the day within the walls of this building in whose shadow we stand today. All of the people of North Charleston are not and have not been represented by this administration for years. And because of that disregard for the constituents who they were sworn to represent, we stand here today to say to Mayor Summey, along with his city council, your time is up. There was a time when these good tax-paying citizens, and I must emphasize, tax-paying citizens of North Charleston could sit on their front porches and watch the children play. But those days are long gone now. Now they are afraid to leave from within the confines of their homes and venture out into the streets. Afraid because of the criminal and gang and gun activity that has been allowed by this administration to flourish within these communities. Afraid for their children who are forced to play in the streets because of the lack of recreational facilities and educational programs within their neighborhoods, unlike those that are present in the more affluent neighborhoods of North Charleston. And, ironically, afraid because they have been under siege for years by the over-aggressive, even abusive policing tactics used by the North Charleston Police Department in the way it handles its people of color and the poor. Employment opportunities and quality education for the residents of these communities are virtually non-existent, unlike the opportunities available to those who live in those same affluent neighborhoods that the mayor has catered to. Most of us believe that if the conditions I've named thus far were happening in Westcott Plantation or in Eagle Landing, they would have been squashed immediately and not allowed to thrive and fester in those places unchecked. There are other issues where we hold this administration at fault. The community feels that the current North Charleston City Council has worked over the years in the best interests of the mayor instead of the best interests of the community. Over the years, Keith Summey and his city council have targeted the development in affluent communities of North Charleston while actually neglecting the areas where minorities and poor reside. They've given token cosmetic improvements in the poor communities while spending millions to upgrade the quality of life in the well-to-do neighborhoods. If anybody doesn't believe me, there's ample proof if you just take a ride from the low end of Dorchester Road up to the high end of Dorchester Road.
I want to thank each and every one of the organizations who thought it not robbery to come out as well as to endorse the campaign to elect John Singletary for mayor. When we look at North Charleston, it is time for a transformation. For too long, we have been left behind in the communities that have built this city. Blacks, whites, Hispanics, all together. We've built this city, and now we have an opportunity to bring about a new North Charleston. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to first show that we can stand in unity, and in spite of differences, we're able to come together and to overcome the divide and conquer strategy that is being attempted on this community. We understand that the budget is $105 million and that oftentimes those funds are not evenly distributed. Blacks, whites, and Hispanics who want justice must come together. Yes. This race. At the end of the day, people who you see standing around me, these will be the kinds of people who will write the history of the new North Charleston. North Charleston will never be the same. No longer can we stand and allow public corruption, nepotism, cronyism, regimenting to be the order of the day. When we have 100,000 residents, all who want justice for their children, good jobs, recreation, those are the kinds of things the new North Charleston will bring about. Each and every citizen who wants justice in North Charleston to come out and vote early. The location is right behind Bilo on Leeds and Dorchester Road, off of Headquarters Road. If you need a ride, 225-9460. You can call that number and we will make sure that a ride comes and gets you. You can call our Hat Campaign headquarters or any of these organizations. Again, get out and vote early. We want to make sure that we take absolutely no chances in clinching this victory. Remember, you vote, we win. Thank you.
We have come from one great civilization out of ancient Kemet, and we are the first and the last. But we can also give each other that handshake city one more time again here in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? We have to take back not only our rights and our civil liberties. When it rains in South Carolina, it rains on all of us. Your life and you are the most greatest assets that ever walked on this planet of this earth. We got to show them that, look, enough is enough. We tired.
As I said and will always say, please continue to question everything because some of us don't know our rights.
On AC Fun Time, there's stuff for kids just like me.
All right, AC, I want to get into a little bit of dialogue about the importance of the type of water that you put in your body. First, I'll hit on some quick points. The body is made up of almost 70% water. The blood is over 90% water. So when you think about those two things, you realize how important water is. Blood carries nutrients to every cell in your body. And if your body is made up of water, that's why it's always the saying that says, you are what you eat or what you put into your body. Hey, that's what you get out. So the water that we need to drink has to be natural. What they do now is they'll take tap water, municipal water, and then they'll filter it and treat it, and then they'll put things like chlorine and fluoride in it, and they saying that these things are good for us. They help the teeth and that sort of thing. But I beg to differ. If it's not a natural nutrient that's naturally occurring in the water, then your body treats it as a poison, point blank. And so the reason why you want natural spring water is because they haven't done anything more than filtered it for maybe little small particles of trash or those sort of things. But then that water should have the natural minerals, and it should possibly be close to pH balance. If you want enhanced flavor or enhanced purity or enhanced smoothness to your water, squeeze some lemon in it, squeeze some lime in it, put in cut up some pineapple and drop that in it. It doesn't have to make it sweet. It'll just give it that enhanced flavor that they say they're adding.
I understand. I'm going to let your wife talk to us a little about, because she's going to talk about detox, etc. But before we do that, I want to ask a question, because I juice every morning. You know, I do the carrot, apples, the kale, and a number of other things. But now the way I do it, I juice in a large jar. I fix a large jar, and then I drink it every day. You know what I'm saying? Is that acceptable, or should I do it fresh every day?
Good way to save time. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. But what we have to understand is that the reason you go to organic and fresh is because you want living food. You want to put living food in your body.
Living food that I'm fixing after?
Yes, it's because the enzymes is what makes it living food. The enzymes and the
but I mean, is it living after I put it in that jar and sit for 5 days?
That's what I'm saying. Anywhere from 3 to 5 days is a good. But once the food starts turning, or the juice starts turning, color and starts having a smell, then you know that something's going wrong. But long as it still, smells the same, still smells fresh, I mean, your body will tell you, then it's good. Or even if you taste it, it has a tang or a different taste, then you know that, hey, something's going on with this food.
I'm going to hurry up and get this mic to your wife, but really, I'm asking all these questions, but this is for myself, and if the viewing audience can benefit from it.
But the fact that you're still eating raw bananas, you're still eating, you're consuming the raw juice that still has the enzymes in it, you're giving yourself a good mixture of it. So you're going to see the reason why you want those live enzymes or what's called probiotics, which is going to be beneficial bacteria that goes down into the gut and help you digest and also help you fight off free radicals and that sort of things. Those are the reason why you want to have a mix. So it's okay to have a completely hot meal, but then you drink some live juice behind it, or you eat an apple, or you have a salad with that. That's going to give you the probiotic or the live enzymes that's going to help you help the body have the balance that it needs.
Well, now, I'm going to really give the mic to your wife right now, but I got one last question, and it's for me. I was told that when you first wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do, perhaps after you say your prayers or whatnot, is you want to drink water. Is that? I'm gonna give the mic to your wife, and she can elaborate from that point about the water. When you first get up, you want to drink water. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. As soon as you wake up, at least within the 45 minutes of waking up in the morning, you want to drink a glass of water. And you also want to drink that throughout the day. We suggest drinking a glass of water before meals, before every meal. That helps cut the appetite as well. Drink a glass of water before you lay down for bed. That helps with the digestion and getting all that going. And also not stopping eating at a certain time, not eating so late at night to help with the digestion. But you want to drink, you want to get that water in your system, and you want to drink that as much as possible. And when we have aches, when we have headaches, any kind of body aches, that's dehydration. So if you have a headache, you're already dehydrated. You want to make sure that you get enough water in your system so you don't have that headache, so you don't have those body aches. Because if you're aching anywhere, that's where you have that issue. If it's, your heart or whatever, chest pain, you got something going on here, you're dehydrated here. And so you want to get enough water in your system.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. When we come back, she's going to talk about detox. You don't want to go anywhere. You want to hear this. Stay tuned. I think we should do some honey. We're going to get some honey. We're getting a whole lot of castor oil to give you a renewed mind. Minister Johnson, when we come back, I'm going to let you take the mic because you're going to close us out. We'll be right back. No, we're going to come back with detox. We'll be right back.
And I must elaborate on this point. There was a media attack on John Singletary, candidate for mayor that's running against Mayor Summey. on his background. Now, many of us believe that this was orchestrated by Mayor Summey and perpetrated through a media employee who at one point worked for North Charleston in an attempt to derail the campaign of an opponent who he now realizes is a threat to his kingdom. One point he probably didn't think he had any threats like he had in the past. Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, there's an imminent threat for his removal from office on November 3rd.
Yes.
And it's not only imminent, it's going to happen. Now, as far as that media report, let me say this, and let me say this emphatically, and this is what we collectively believe. When you take 21 years of corrupt behavior perpetrated against a mass of people in North Charleston, and you want to take one issue, two issues, and aim it at the character of another individual, that person who has 21 years of bad behavior has no reason to stand in judgment or to lay blame or fault on anyone other than themselves.
Exactly.
Now, if he stands up for his 21 years of letting the black community, the inner city community, the poor communities of North Charleston go to hell in high water, hell in a handbasket, if he does that, then maybe he can point a finger. But until he does, he's guilty of a moral crime against the city of North Charleston, while the accused or alleged crime that John Singletary supposedly committed was a personal issue unto himself and no one else. So don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, people. This mayor is putting up smoke screens in order to deceive us on November 3rd.
Exactly.
Throwing stones in a glass house. It ain't gonna happen.
This is the lemonade tonic with a little bit of something else added to it. So what you see in there is a half a lemon and the seeds of the lemon, and you see ginger root. But the lemonade tonic it doesn't call for
Ginger root?
It doesn't call for the ginger root. The lemonade tonic doesn't.
Okay.
This is just what we added in here. The Master Cleanse is the name of it. If you want to do your research. But basically, this tonic, the Master Cleanse tonic, calls for a 10-day tonic. We don't necessarily feel like you have to prescribe to a program, so to speak. It's whatever works for you. This says to do it 10 days, but you find out what works for you. You don't eat or consume anything except this liquid. Again, if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, you do what works for you. You have this, or maybe some fruit, or whatever works for you. But this calls for one person, one drink. It calls for 8 to 10 ounces of water, and we talked about the importance of having the correct water, and a half a lemon. And so if you have a juicer, juice a lemon. If not, squeeze the juice out of it, and you can have the peel in it as well. One of the things that I forgot to mention earlier when I was talking about the tea was the importance of eating the peel. So if you don't juice it, just try, a piece of the peel. We throw away peels of a lot of fruits and vegetables and have a lot of nutrients in it that we're missing out on when we do that. But also you want to make sure that you clean it properly. We use just simple, a spray bottle with solution of vinegar, white vinegar, and just water, the proper water. And then we use a little bit of baking soda and to agitate it, spray it, and then rinse it off with the water.
But clean it before you.
To clean all our fruits and vegetables, right, before we consume them.
That's very important, huh?
It's very important, yeah. So 8 to 10 ounces of water per person, a half a lemon, and 2 tablespoons of sweetener, and that's just for one sitting for one person. We suggest maple syrup, molasses. Grandma's Molasses is the brand. Although I have to admit that we initially bought both types, and we prefer the maple syrup over the Grandma's Molasses. It's thicker.
Well, brown sugar is less processed as the white sugar. So in regard to if we had to quantize it as being better, yes, it would be less harmful to the body. But then again, it's still processed. It just hasn't gone as far in the process. So you want to go to, especially when you're doing a cleanse, you want to go to a no process. So maple syrup isn't processed. They just tap it out of the tree and they boil the water out of it, and then you're left with just the pure syrup. The same thing with the honey. Same thing with the molasses. Molasses, the way they process them is the same way. It's not really being changed chemically. And so your body doesn't receive it as, the negative benefits that the chemical processes would have for them.
Hey, before we go any further, I almost didn't think about it. It's very important that I say this. The opinion that you hear on this show today is the opinion of the panel. It's not suggested that you use it. If you hear something and you want to take heed to it, it's up to you. They are not doctors. They have done research and they are sharing with you that what works for them. And again, the opinion that's on the show today is not suggested by AC Funtime Superstars that you use it. But if you care to use it, feel free. If the food on the table tastes good and it does something for you, eat it. Back to you.
How can we get in contact with you? Because you share so much good information with us tonight. We can go on and on and on, but I think our viewers need to have a second or two to grab that pen and a piece of paper and write down this contact information.
Well, you can contact us on Facebook. You can contact us personally. My Facebook account is Sylvia Tamika Jackson, SOLVIA TAMEKIA Jackson. You can also contact my husband that way, Bernard Jackson on Facebook. We also have a Facebook group called Your Daily Dread, Drink, Eat, Drink. And Drink, Eat, Drink is just kind of the format that we kind of stumbled upon as we were researching this, when I was talking about the tea earlier and that having to cut our appetite. And so we found that we were not eating so early in the morning because we were having the tea and then, sometimes a lemonade tonic and then, other tonics we were drinking, just apple cider vinegar tonic, which that's apple cider vinegar is great for a lot of uses, or just water. So when you have those liquids in the morning, there's no need to eat because it helps to crave your appetite, helps cut weight loss, and also gets you regular. So we just stumbled upon that and started eating around 12 o'clock. And so from 12 to 7-ish, we have different meals. We start off with mono meals, and a mono meal would just simply be one thing we'd cook, maybe a pot of beans or greens or whatever, And so we still have that sometimes, and sometimes we have full meals, and it's just stopping at that time so that your body can have time to digest and rest. And if you still need something after the 7 o'clock time, then you drink liquids again. You have your tea, your tonics, those kind of things. And then if that doesn't work for you, then make it shorter or make it longer, make that fit for you. But so you can contact us on our Facebook page, Your Daily Dread, Drink, Eat, Drink. That's what the dread stands for. We just kind of combine those letters into that. And there's a lot of information on there. Also, if you go on the Facebook page, you'll see on our About page some information about a quick health conscious course that we developed that will just give you some quick knowledge on 3 different modules is what it's called. Water conscious, health, food conscious, and then smart consumer consciousness. So, all that information is on our Facebook page, Your Daily Dread.
You can also email us at drinkeatdrink@gmail.com.
Now, I want to ask a question. When you're cooking, what kind of oil that you suggest that you use? Because we talked about that.
That's a great question because people come to under the belief that cooking with oils is not healthy, but there are some healthy oils. The two that we actually cook with the most, and now more so now we mainly cook with only coconut oil just because of the market for olive oil. But olive oil, if you can find it in a reliable organic source, as well as coconut oil, are the two oils that we cook with. And The reason why we don't use vegetable oil or canola oil or some of these other oil blends is because these things use chemical processes to create those oils, and once those oils get heated to very high temperatures, they become carcinogenic or acidic. The body treats them as very acidic, and it basically makes the body a place to where you can contract, diseases and illnesses. So that's a great question. You want to use organic coconut oil or olive oil, and there's several other oils, don't get me wrong, but those are just the two that we use. You would, again, do your research and become a community of learners. Ask the question and let's all figure out which others are good.
Another thing that you talked about and we hadn't covered tonight is the milk, and you taught me how to make my own milk.
Yes, there's a huge concern for melanated people and just people in general in regard to consuming the milk of animals. The milk of animals has a lot of bacteria in it. There's a lot of things that they do to the milk in order to make it able to be placed on the shelves for you to buy. And we found some information that suggests that they use milk over up to 5 times. So when we think the milk is spoiled, no, they reprocess it again and chemicalize it, do certain things to it, and they use it over up to 5 times before they disperse it or get rid of it, so to speak. And who's to say that they actually ever do? So that's one thing people don't know. But the milk causes a lot of issues in our bodies in regard to constipation, in regard to mucus buildup, and the introduction of different disease or viral type symptoms or elements in our bodies or whatever. We don't need milk for vitamin D or some of the health benefits that they say that we need milk for. We get that from the sun, just going out in the sun. We can go out in the sun and because of melanin in our skin, we produce certain vitamins and certain elements that actually we get from certain foods, which we actually don't need to consume. So as far as answering your question in regard to producing milk, there are milk alternatives. There's almond milks, there's coconut milks. So basically the nut milks that they make out of different nuts like almond, coconut, cashew. There's cashew milk out there. Now you want to be careful when you go to the store to buy these things, because in the store, they will fortify these things. They say fortify, which basically means make them stronger or make them more beneficial to you. But I want to ask you, would you consume a rock that you find off the ground? I asked that question because for the calcium that's found in those milks, it's not naturally found in them, so they add it after the fact. They fortify it with calcium or vitamin D. These are things that are produced. It might say all natural too. They for calcium in milk, in like the almond milk that you would buy in the store in the carton, they heat limestone rock up to between 1400 and 1600 degrees. That makes it expand and become porous. When it becomes when expanded and porous, it's easier for them to crush into a powder. That powder is the calcium that's in your milk. So you're drinking powdered limestone rock for your fortified calcium. Do you really want to drink powdered rock?
What's your alternative?
The alternative is to drink the milk that you make, as far as you get a husk coconut or you get the shredded coconut in organic form. And there's a lot of recipes. You can just Google this. We won't provide one here, but you can Google. There's several recipes and ways that you can make the milk. Yeah. You just type in how to make coconut milk in Google. My friend AC here, he takes the approach to use the shredded coconut, and he even consumes the shreds for extra nutrients of the coconut, which is a perfectly fine thing. That's not wasting anything. Or if you just want just the milk, you can heat up some water. You don't have to have it completely boiling, because if you boil it too much, it'll cause the oils in the milk to actually separate, and then you'll have kind of an oily substance, and the milk won't combine back together.
All aboard! For this stagecoach is about to move out. It is for everyone that has potential and would love to be a superstar. Yeah!
at 12:30.
And the Lord God is your driver to see that we have a safe trip. AC is your conductor.
Right here, Friday night at 12:30.
All aboard! All aboard! All aboard! All aboard!